Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make bruschetta pasta. So what's amazing about this bruschetta pasta is it's like making fresh bruschetta, okay, with homemade ingredients like tomatoes, all right, onion, oregano, garlic, which I'll show you how to prep all of those ingredients, Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, olive oil, and then you're gonna put it with angel hair. So this is a very budget-friendly recipe, and it's really, really good. So what we're gonna do is, when you buy this, I got this angel hair at Walmart. You can get it at Aldi too, and this was, I think, less than $1. And it comes with 16 ounces. So 16 ounces is equivalent to 1 pound. When you cook this, you're gonna cook it for about half of this box, all right? And that should serve about 4 people, all right? So I'm gonna show you how to do that now. We'll be right back. So we're back. So what I'm doing here is I have boiled about 8 cups of water in a pot. So this is a medium-sized saucepan. You could use a stock pot, any kind of pot that you have at home. And as I said, you're gonna be boiling about half of the box, which is 8 ounces of pasta. And that would serve about 4 people. So if you're gonna make this for more people, then obviously you'll make the whole box, all right? So to your boiling water, you're just gonna add a little bit of oil, okay, about a teaspoon, and then a little bit of salt, okay? So the salt is gonna flavor the pasta, and the oil is gonna prevent sticking. If you don't have oil or anything like that, you don't have to add it. I just like adding it for the purpose of this demo, all right? So I'm gonna take out about half of this pasta, like so. Okay, now if I put it in here straight up like this, it's gonna cook weird. So I'm going to break it so it fits inside here. I'm gonna get a little bit more pasta. And I brought the water to a boil first. So always bring the water to a boil first. I started on high heat. I'm gonna lower it down, all right? And break that. And then I'm going to take tongs, or you could take a spoon, whatever you have. Be careful because it's very hot. And we're going to let this cook. Now, your pasta, you want to cook till what's called al dente. That means tender to the bite. And that means that the noodles are bendable and they're not crunchy. All right? So we're going to let this cook. I lowered my heat down just a little. It's going to cook for about 8 to 10 minutes, and I'll show you what to do with it when it's done. Well, I'm going to show you how to make the bruschetta now, so we'll be right back. Bruschetta is a Italian version of salsa. So bruschetta is an Italian version of salsa, and we're going to make this bruschetta, and then we're going to cook it, and then we'll put it with our pasta. So before that, we're going to focus on our knife cut. So you're going to be using a Roma tomato, and this is a Roma tomato, and I like these because they have a lot more flavor, they cook better, and I've already cut some, so we're going to focus on our knife cuts here. So I've cut these in what's called a brunoise, which is a small dice. I'm going to show you how to cut this. So you always want to make sure that you have a garbage bowl. And I've already started prepping some ingredients, which is why I have garbage in there. And it just makes it so you can stay in one spot in the kitchen. Before you start cutting, you want to make sure that you have a cutting board that doesn't move. So you see mine does not move. I put just a home towel, and I'm at my home since we're in quarantine, and I put it right on there so it doesn't move. If you have a cutting board that has rubber on the bottom and it doesn't move, then you will not need a towel, but I needed one. All right, so let's get started. I have 2 knives. I have a knife that is like a chef knife. You might have a bigger one, and then I have a serrated knife. So those are 2 knives that serrated means that it has ridges like a saw, all right? And I like those just to cut into the tomato, but I like to slice with this, all right? If you don't have knives like this at home, you can use a butter knife, all right? So I'm going to cut right in half. And so the center of these tomatoes, they're very juicy, but they water down and they take the flavor away. So I'm going to remove the center. So I'm just focusing on the flavor of the tomato rather than the seeds and that weird texture that they have. It's kind of gummy, okay? So I'm going to remove that. And then now I have 2 tomatoes. I'm going to hold the tomato like this. I'm going to take my other knife, and I'm going to cut it into what's called julienne, which is matchsticks. All right, so you take your knife, and I'm holding it with my 4 fingers here and my thumb here, And then I'm cutting slices, matchsticks away from me, okay? Just like so. So then now you line up all of your matchsticks and then you do your dice. Just like so. All right, and then you put them all together. And I'm gonna put that right into my bowl with my other tomatoes. Now the tomato is the base of this bruschetta. Okay, I'll show you how to do it one more time, just for a recap. So I'm holding this. Don't cut this way because it's hard to pierce into that skin. So when you hold it like this, it's much safer for you and it's more comfortable for you as the chef. So I'm going to take my knife, cutting away from myself. Always focus on cutting away from yourself. Just like so. Line them up. And do your brunoise. Small dice. Just like so. Okay? And then I'm going to take these tomatoes and put them in here. Now, I'm using fresh tomatoes because, well, I like the flavor of fresh tomatoes, and they're really cheap right now. So you can get them at Walmart for like 80 cents for a pound. And 4 tomatoes is not even a full pound, so it's really cheap. But in the wintertime, or if you don't have access, you could also buy canned tomatoes, and you would just use the whole can. I will have the variation of what you can use in the recipe, so you can follow it when you make it at home. All right? So we'll be right back. I'm going to show you how to prep the rest of the vegetables. All right, so the pasta is finished cooking, and I turned the heat off. So how do I know it's done? When I pick it up, it's bendable. I tasted one just to make sure, and it was completely good to go. So now I'm going to show you how to drain it. So I'm just going to walk over to my sink, and I am just going to strain it right through, just like so. And then I'm going to put it right there to drip off the rest. I'm gonna let this cool when I finish prepping my vegetable sauce. All right, so we're back. And now I'm gonna show you, so I've cut the tomato. Now I'm gonna show you how to cut the onion. So this is a red onion, and we're gonna cook this. So if you don't like onion, you're not really gonna taste it. It's just gonna add a nice dimensional flavor. We're gonna use about 1/4 of an onion. So I had this together, I sliced it right in half, and then I peeled off the outer edge, all right? So now what I'm gonna do is right here is where the root is, all right? And what I'm gonna take my knife, and I'm just gonna slice, not all the way through, because when you slice that root, that's when you cry, okay? So onions have a natural separation, so when I slice it this way, I'm automatically gonna have it as a dice, just like so. So you can like see, it's already like that. So I'm just gonna go all the way through, cut it like so. Always cut away from you. Okay, so now this is gonna go in my garbage bowl, all right? And now I'm just gonna mince this up. So this is about 1/4 of an onion, which is actually equivalent to about 1/4 cup if we were gonna do measurements, okay? So if you wanted to be precise, all right? Just gonna go back and forth. Let me move this because it's in my way. And I use my blade of the knife just to guide. And I just go back and forth to get that nice and fine. All right. Once it's to the finest, if you don't like onion, cut it a ton. If you don't mind onion, then you don't need to cut it as much. But we are cooking it down, so you won't taste it that much. It's not going to be like an abundant fresh onion taste. And red onion doesn't have as much flavor as like a white onion. You can use white onion if you don't have red onion. That would work as well. Okay. So there's our onion all prepped. So I have my tomatoes, I have my onion. The next thing I'm going to prep is my oregano. So oregano is like is a fresh spice, and it comes in a package just like so, all right? And it comes on a little vine, and you're just going to peel those leaves right off, okay? You can eat them, but you're just going to peel them right off, all right? Just like so. I'm going to put that in my garbage bowl. And then we are going to mince this, chop it up, just like we did with the onion. Now, the difference between this is this is a leaf. So you're gonna have to do a little bit more work with this. And you notice I just put it right on top of where I was cutting my onion, because none of these are we're not using meat. So you can cut on top of it, and we're gonna mix it all together anyway, so it doesn't matter. So just like back and forth like so. All right, it's all ready to go. I'm gonna take my spoon, put it right in there with the rest I have prepped. So now I have my oregano. You can replace this with basil. You can use dried oregano, dried basil. Very versatile. I will specify in the recipe. The last ingredient I'm going to show you how to cut is the garlic. So this is how garlic comes in the grocery store or when you grow it. So this is called a bulb of garlic. When you take these apart, you have what's called cloves. All right. And this recipe is going to call for 3 to 4 cloves depending on how much you like. All right. So when you cut this, I'm just going to move this aside just like so. Bring that up. I'm going to take the blade and I'm going to smash that garlic down to get the outer rind away from my garlic. Okay. Then I'm going to start chopping my garlic just like how I was chopping my other vegetables. And I'm going to go back and forth until it's a fine mince, just like the oregano, or if it's this big, it's going to get you're going to get a big chunk of garlic, and you don't want that. So you're just going to keep going back and forth, just like so. All right, until you achieve something like this. All right. Now, if there's some extra gadgets you might have at your house for cutting garlic. So this is a garlic press, and this is a garlic smasher. So I can show you how to use these. If you don't have them, it's fine. You can use a knife. So with this, what's nice is you literally take the whole garlic clove. You don't have to peel it, and you put it right into there. And this press goes in here, and then you push it. And when you push it through, it comes through these little holes here, and then you don't have to do anything. So it almost like minces it, purees it. It's amazing. All right. Or you can use this. This one would require you to peel it like this. Okay, I didn't press hard enough. So I press that, peel that away. And then I'm going to take this and I just go back and forth. And you can see it coming through here. So you can kind of determine what you like best. All right. I'll show you how to mix this all together when we come back. So we're back, and now I'm going to mix all of our ingredients together. So I'm using a bowl, and I'm going to add all my tomatoes, my Brunoise tomatoes, 4 of them. Remember, if you don't have fresh tomatoes, you can always use the entire can of tomatoes, all right? So whatever you prefer. And then I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of onion, which is equivalent to about 2 spoonfuls, okay? If you have measuring spoons, you can use those. I just am kind of going to eyeball it because this is savory cooking and you can eyeball it. I'm going to use about 3 to 4 cloves of minced garlic, which is equal to about 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to spoon that right in there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of our chopped up oregano, and I'm going to use about 2 teaspoons as well. Okay? And I'm going to mix this all together. Just like so. And now I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Okay? If you don't have olive oil, you can use any kind of oil. All right? It could be vegetable, canola, peanut, whatever you have at home. Now, oil is the adherence, so now it's going to stick with it's like glue. So I'm going to take my salt, and I'm going to do about a half teaspoon of salt. Okay? So I'm eyeballing this. You should use this for measuring, or you can eyeball it too, whatever you prefer. And then I'm going to do a sprinkling of pepper, and I'm just going to stir that up, okay? Now what we're going to do with this is we are going to cook it. So in the same pot, and you can use a skillet, which is the flat pot, but for the purpose of staying clean in your kitchen and your parents not getting mad at you, we're just going to use the same little medium-sized saucepan. I'm going to turn this on to medium heat, just like so. And then I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there, about 2 teaspoons. All right. And I'm just going to wait for that to get a little shimmery, which it is my range is really good because it's already kind of, you can hear it sizzling. As soon as it starts sizzling, you're going to add in all of your tomato mixture. All right. So essentially we made fresh bruschetta. Now you can use that bruschetta and actually put it on bread, eat it with crackers, if you've ever had bruschetta before, okay? I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit. But for this, because it's bruschetta pasta, I want to cook it so it's actually making somewhat of a chunky sauce, like a spaghetti sauce. All right? So we're just going to stir this around just a little bit. I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And then we'll add our pasta. We'll be right back. So as you can see, that fresh tomato bruschetta, it turned into a sauce. So isn't that cool how it got so saucy? Now directly to this, we're going to take our pasta, just like so, okay, we used about 8 ounces. And then we're just going to toss this together. Now, technically, if you were going to do this in a culinary class at Leiden, you would have used a skillet, but because I didn't want you to make a lot of dishes at your house, I'm doing it in a saucepan, so that's why you don't see it as well. Just going to kind of toss this around, make it nice and warm. Okay, and then I'm going to pour it right in to our bowl so you can see what this deliciousness looks like. Okay, I'm going to turn off okay, and then if you have it available, we're going to top with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, just like so. And then I also have a little bit of mozzarella. All right. If you wait for it to cool, it won't melt. And I would have extra for serving. And this would serve about 4 people. You could serve this with a side of grilled chicken breast, steak, shrimp. It would go with anything. You can even have some zucchini, put other vegetables in there, and bon appetit. Enjoy.